Now batting for the New York Yankees, the shortstop, number two.
Welcome back. This is episode 175 of the NYYST podcast. I am your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And Stat Guy, Rye.
What up?
What's up, fellas?
What up? All right, fam.
You all right
Chilling.
over there, Rye?
Yeah, I think I hear my dog barking in the background, but whatever. What are you going to do? Quarantine.
You have a dog?
Yeah, I got a little teacup Yorkie.
Oh, yeah?
She's on her way out. Let's say that.
She's 14.
Well, if you want the dog to die, just leave it at Chris's house.
Dead in 3 hours.
You know, he'll forget to feed it. He'll send it to a farm. It'll have worms.
Yeah, probably. I probably
The
would.
doggy went to the doggy farm.
So if you think Chris is a scumbag for killing animals, please leave us a 5-star rating.
Oh, that's a joke. There was a huge wild turkey across the street from us the other day, and I had temptations. If I had a gun, I might have killed it.
You got the meat shortage. You might have to.
And eaten it. Skinned it and eaten it.
First of all, you have no skills whatsoever to kill, skin, and eat an animal on
I
your
can
own.
shoot it. I've been playing Wii Cabela, the hunting game. I could definitely shoot it.
Because that's definitely the same thing, is playing Wii and you know, using a hunting rifle to kill a moving target.
What were you
like
going to
that.
say
Definitely.
about people leaving us a review or something?
Yeah, you know, you want to put it in a better context than I was going to? You can...
I was, listen, these times are tough and people are home. They're listening to podcasts. Just take a couple seconds if you haven't already. If you're not listening to us on iTunes, but you have Apple Podcasts or whatever, flip over, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Bada bing, bada boom. And Ryan still needs a haircut.
Yeah. I mean, anytime
I got hair clippers now, by the way.
Like you guys think about my hair more than I think about it. Just let it go.
That's the problem. You should think about it.
You should think about it.
But who am I trying to impress? Who am I interacting with? We're all stuck.
No,
they're
we're
not even.
stuck.
They're not even open right now. So
Walk
I'd have
out of your-
to do
first
it
of all,
myself. I'm
all
not
right.
doing it myself.
All right, look. Did you ever watch How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
All right, so-
Terrible show.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I would say the finale is fucking terrible, but the show itself.
It's a good show.
So there's an episode where Barney likes to wear suit pajamas in case girls come over to his house to bang him in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
that's-
in the one episode, he wears Marshall's nightshirt, and then the girls don't want to bang him. You're gonna have that same scenario, right? Where you're gonna walk out of your house. There's gonna be like really attractive women that are gonna want to hook up with you, and they're gonna look at your hair, and you know.
I think he
they
pulls
like
it
the long
off,
hair, dude.
and he could do the ponytail now.
You're wrong.
Which, listen, I'm not big on the long hair, but I think now you've hit a point where I like it now.
Thank you, Chris.
I still want you.
appreciate it.
I still want you to
That's all
shave
I've
your head.
been That's all I've been wanting was for you to like it.
So now you'll shave your head.
Now, next will be Christian. Yeah, sure.
Here's what you
No, I'll
gotta
never
do.
shave my head.
You gotta put it in a man bun and dye the bun part blonde.
Deal.
That's actually not a bad idea. That would be kind of cool looking.
Actually, no, you should do Google Seth Rollins from when he debuted in WWE with the Shield. Do that. Why are you laughing? You have no idea.
Yes,
what
I
mean.
do. Didn't he have the streaks in his hair?
He had what? He had like,
One down the right side of his face. Oh, that actually, I could pull that off. That would look
Yeah,
kind of cool.
okay.
Just a little patch of blonde.
Or pink?
if you
maybe I'll just bleach it. Should I just bleach my hair?
if you do that, then I won't bust your balls about your hair.
I'll bleach my hair for the pod.
Okay.
Platinum blonde. No, because then I'd have to shave it after.
Actually, I actually have a test for. I have a test for you guys. Ready? And for the people listening, close your eyes. Okay. Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Right, I can see you. Close your eyes. Picture Eminem rapping. Got it?
Yeah.
Open your eyes. Did you picture him with blonde hair?
Yeah. Yeah, what's your point, dude?
My point is every time I see Eminem, it could be for 10 years that he hasn't had the blonde hair anymore and he still has the brown, that it fucks me up because every time I think of Eminem, no matter what, he's got blonde hair.
Yeah, because he hasn't been important since Memorial Day 2002. Okay.
I don't know about that. He's had the brown hair longer than the platinum blonde.
Yes, but I'm telling you, he hasn't been important since Memorial Day. Whenever the third album came
So
out, that was
maybe
it.
if Ryan bleaches the hair blonde, it'll be his time to be important. And then people will forever think of him that way.
Yeah, I think you're onto something, Chris.
What do you got? A little cocktail over there? A little gin and juice? Speaking of
Cranberry.
rappers?
Yeah, cranberry vodka.
And lit on the pod?
It's just, yeah, a little bit of cranberry
That's
vodka.
all anyone does is drink and eat now, right?
You
What
know,
else am I gonna do?
on one of your many sabbaticals from the pod, Ryan, Chris got drunk off half an Angry Orchard on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Which led to
Where
me
are you,
getting getting drunk the next weekend and throwing up profusely multiple times.
Were you at I think you were at an engagement party that night. I think we had the beers because we were watching.
Oh, yeah, I've listened to that one.
We were watching the fight that night.
It was Perini's engagement party.
Christian, did you watch those UFC fights at all?
No,
They were good. They were good.
I heard the one guy actually literally busted the other guy's teeth.
Oh, shit. I might have missed that part, but there was some fucked up. There were some messed up moments.
You know
about the ones last night
No, I'm talking about
over the weekend.
the UFC
Yeah.
fights.
Yeah, they ran fights last night where he literally busted the other guy's teeth. I didn't see it. But
Shit.
I don't know if you guys know this, but we
but
do
YouTube
actually
it.
have baseball content for this week.
oh, we do.
I think.
All right, let's get into
I
it.
want to do something fun a little later in the show. I'm be blatantly honest. I'm stealing the idea from Joe and Evan, where their producer gives them clues to guess a Yankee, and then they play that Yankees John Sterling home run call. I want to pick a few Yankees and give you clues to see if you guys can guess them. Obviously, we don't have the calls, but
I like that. And you know what? If we continue this, if we do this as like a little segment towards the end of each show, I can get if you you're too stupid to actually pull the audio. But if you just find clips of them on YouTube, I won't look at the actual player and I'll turn them into audio for the show.
you know my daughter's 12 days old, right?
Yes.
But she talks already.
Oh yeah.
She saw a picture of you last night and she goes, dumb.
And she gives me the finger.
She flipped you off already.
It's all right.
But for people that didn't listen to Joe and Evan today, and I know they've been doing this for a while, but today was the actual first day that I heard them do it. Ryan, were you paying attention to the group chat before when I gave you the number?
Yeah, with the Sterling.
Out of every Yankee that has played while John Sterling has called Yankee games, he has come up with 112 personalized home run calls.
I think I would have might
Kind
maybe
of
have
blew
guessed
my
higher.
mind.
Chris guessed, what did you guess initially? 35?
32.
He came up with 32 last year on his own, like just from the guys that played
Yeah,
last
see,
year.
I
That's
know.
what
I guess
happened
you
over the
don't
last-
you don't think of like the guys who come and go.
Because it used to just be one every, like 4 guys on the team would have a special call. Like Bernie Williams would have his call, but now it's anytime you hit a home run on the Yankees, you got a call.
Yeah, they were talking about that today. Like Paul O'Neill doesn't have his own call.
Mhm.
Like you would think, like Paul O'Neill, right?
right.
But Dean Anna has his own fucking call. He has one career home run.
See, I would never think that.
and he had his. It was actually a fun game that they were doing because I was trying to guess along with them, and I actually had. They couldn't. They're not Yankee fans, so I understand it to a degree. They couldn't guess Marcus Timms for the life of me, for the life of them. But he did have a memorable. The clue was that he had a memorable first career home run.
Marcus Timms' first career home run. If you probably gave me a few more clues on what the home run was, I would get it.
It was his first career home run, and his first career at bat was against a Hall of Fame pitcher.
Was it
I
Halladay?
remember.
Wait, I know I know this. It was against Randy Johnson.
And
Whoever you're talking about. I don't know who you're.
It's
talking-
Marcus Timms.
Marcus Timms.
I remember
you know,
for some reason.
too,
I
for some
remember that game. I think it's because it's been on Yankees Classics for some reason.
Who was the other Yankee who had like a crazy 2 weeks? Oh, like way back.
Shelley Duncan.
Maybe it was Shelley Duncan, but I feel like there was someone else.
Matthew Lillard.
Shortstop, maybe? Or I don't know. It'll never come to me. I'd have to look up the rosters.
So later on in the show, I'll pull up a couple of names and see if you guys can guess who they are. I'll give you some context clues on it. And then we have a couple of Twitter questions we can answer too at the end of the show. But there is a little, I mean, it's not, people get, every time that we hear the owners approve something or the players said something, we get all excited. And then, you know, we were going to do a show Tuesday because all this news broke. And here we are Thursday night. And nothing's happened because you got to get both sides to agree to things. Just because the owners agree to something doesn't mean the players are going to be on board with it. So we had heard that basically what they were going to do was an 82-game season, universal DH. They were going to expand the playoff teams to 14, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing, the real kicker in all this that's really holding the players back from what I understand, and, you know, forgive me if I'm not as up on it. And I don't never want to use my kid as an excuse, but I've been a little bit busy, you know, right now in the past couple of days, still getting adjusted to everything. But apparently they don't want to pay the players a prorated salary, which is what you would think they would do. You know, if you're going to play 82 games, you basically pay them half their salary, which you would think would probably be fair, right? They want to do a revenue sharing thing, which is basically a salary cap, and the players don't want it.
I agree. I'm personally, I'm on the player side on this one. Even if they sound petty, I just think, I know this is unprecedented. I know that in these times we have to adapt, but the owners were adamant a few years back or however long it was ago that the players' salaries will be completely separate from revenue. It was just something that they fought for, that the players were okay with. I mean, these owners could sell out every single game, sell 4 million beers, you know, everything. They don't touch it. So why now is, listen, if the owners came at it and said, look, it's only going to be half the amount of games, so we should prorate it, their mistake was coming in it with revenue. And I think that's where the Players Association kind of balked at it.
Well, they don't want to. They want to pay him based off of revenues because there's not going to be revenues. That's why they want to pay him that way. And we're going to start this season with no fans in the stadium. So where's the money coming from?
That's not the players' problem. I mean, think about it. The players are there to put something to. The players give the owners something to put out, regardless of if there's fans there or not. And it's the owners' jobs to put fans in the seats. Now, the owners aren't going to be allowed to put fans in the seats. That's not the players' fault. The players are still going out there and doing their job. If you want to tell me that you want to prorate salary because you're going to play half the amount of games, well, then I'll say this. Why are guys getting service time then this year? And why are guys getting paid on their contract? Or what? It should have just all been put to a halt until they had a plan in place. Because if this season never got underway, these guys would still be getting paid, right?
I don't think so.
Well, they only had an agreement. I think it was for the first 2 months of the season. They kind of had their own sort of stimulus package for the players. But as far as the full season goes, no, they're not guaranteed a payment.
No, I believe it ends at the end of May, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so too.
Hey, Ryan, you know, I'm not going to bother you about your hair anymore, but you know.
Oh God,
looking up
you are annoying.
Again, you know, I bring this up all the time. Somewhere along the way, he forgets why he's on the show to begin with.
Stats.
You know You know what's wild though? You can't even look anything up anymore because every single frigging website you need a subscription to access their articles. Who's paying for these subscriptions to look up USA Today articles?
Do you want me to contact?
Well,
Fred?
The Athletic is supposed to be not behind the paywall right now.
Dude, literally now Pantograph? What's Pantograph.com? I can't get on Pantograph because I need a $6.99 a month.
I never even heard of that. What is that?
I don't know, man. I'm just clicking. I'm clicking at every fucking article.
So, what I was about to say is that we're looking at this from maybe a New York perspective. You know, like, could the Yankees afford to pay their $200 whatever it is $1 million payroll if they make no revenue this year? Probably. I don't think they could probably afford it. But you're looking at a team like the Rays, the Kansas City Royals, who else? The A's, the Rays and A's. I think they furloughed employees. If they have no money coming in, how are they supposed to pay their players? They can't. They don't have that type of money laying around.
Why is that the player's problem though? Shouldn't that come from something?
Pay you?
I'm sorry, but shouldn't that come from the commissioner's office? If the commissioner's, he's the one pushing for all of this to happen, right? I mean. So shouldn't a solution come from the commissioner's office? I mean, all of us are quarantined, right? And a lot of us can't work or make money, and so it was up to the government to come through with some type of stimulus to give us money. Well, now their stimulus is running out, and they're coming back to work. Why should they come back to work and take a pay cut? It just shouldn't happen. You're going out there because guess what? You going out there and playing is still going to, and I'm telling you right now, the TV ratings are going to be through the roof. People are excited to watch baseball again. You're going out there so that you can put something on TV. And if you don't have players to do that, you don't have anything. So you should not be asking players to go out there, still do their job, still put money in your pocket, but to take a pay cut.
Yeah, they should.
Hey, Christian, you've been home for a while. We need you to come back to work now. Pandemic's still not over. We're still not cleared, but you come back to work and you're actually going to get paid less. Okay, pal?
As opposed to not having a job, you got to put people in that situation. There's people that would agree to that.
I think it's easy for all of us to sit here and say, hey, these guys are getting paid millions to play baseball. They should be fine with it.
You think if John Carlos Stanton doesn't play baseball this year, he's going to wind up on a fucking line looking for bread and soup somewhere?
No.
Exactly. Well, that's another thing we have to look at it. Like,
okay,
it's billionaires and millionaires fighting with each other over money, while you, I, and Ryan and every other Tom, Dick, and Harry doesn't have two fucking nickels to rub together, and all we want to do is watch baseball.
Let me ask you this: you just had a baby, right? Your wife just had a baby. If you got the virus and tested positive, would you be allowed to be with your wife in that time when she gave birth?
No.
Was it difficult for you to go outside, to work, to do anything, and to think about the good possibility that you could get it and not be with your wife? So what about a guy like Cole? What about a guy like Cole? What about a guy like isn't Trout gonna have a baby, you said, or something? These guys are going out there and risking all that right now too. So what? They should risk it and also not get paid as much money?
And I mean, look, that's where all of this is just, it's bigger than baseball, because right now you don't know what the move is. Do you want to go back? Do you want to risk it or not?
It's not about money. It's about what these guys feel comfortable doing.
No,
that's what it is.
It's all about the word revenue. If the owners came out and said, look, you guys are paid, your salaries are based on 162 games, regardless of if people are in the seat or not. You guys are paid on 162 games and incentivized in the playoffs and so on and so forth. Because we're not going to play 162 games, you are not going to get paid the same amount. We're going to have to prorate that. The problem is the owners came in and used the word revenue and said, look, we're not going to make as much money here, so now you guys shouldn't. And that's the wrong approach, in my opinion. If you just kept it at, you're supposed to play 162, you're only playing 81 or 80, whatever it's going to be, so we're going to prorate your salaries now. They had to say the word revenue. They had to talk about the fans not being in the seats and their pockets not being as full as normal. And that's where the players lashed out.
Yeah, well, that's their problem. And I don't feel sorry for either side, to be honest with you. I just feel sorry as a fan that we don't have baseball to watch. So if you're telling me this is about money, to be dead honest with you, I don't want to hear it from either side. Figure it out. If you're telling me that it's a health issue, then I'm with you on it. If the players don't feel comfortable health-wise playing, then then we're done.
Well, we do have a clip whenever you want to get to it of Blake Snell. He's streaming, playing video games, and he's talking about his concerns with, not getting as much money to go back and the risk he feels, at least. I don't know, maybe it's just part of the show that these guys are putting on, that they don't feel comfortable fully going back. But that's the point. That's the angle he's taking. So maybe a lot of them don't. You want to
play it because it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous clip. So just play it.
It is a little ridiculous, but we'll talk about it when it's over.
Split no revenue. I want all mine. Bro, y'all gotta understand too, because y'all gonna be like, bro, Blake, play for the love of the game, man. What's wrong with you, bro? Money should not be a thing. Bro, I'm risking my life. What do you mean it should not be a thing? It 100% should be a thing. If I'm gonna play, I should be getting the money I signed to be getting paid. I should not be getting half of what I'm getting paid because the season's cut in half, on top of a 33% cut of the half that's already there. So I'm really getting like 25%. On top of that, it's getting taxed. So imagine how much I'm actually making to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't making shit. And on top of that, so all that money's gone. And now I play risking my life.
Okay, Rye, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you look up Blake Snell's, what he gets paid per year?
So... But what Blake Snell is saying is that he's willing to put a price on his life, and the Major League Baseball owners have not met his price.
I mean, listening to what
he makes $10 million a year. He just signed a 5-year, $50 million contract.
Okay, so just give me a minute.
It would be like $2.5 million. He's claiming he'd make this year.
Meanwhile, you got people in grocery stores making $11 an hour, putting themselves at risk every day. But this guy doesn't want to play baseball for $2.5 million.
What's the income tax in Florida?
Is there no? I don't think there is. Is there state income tax in Florida?
I know Washington there isn't.
There's no personal income tax in Florida.
Okay, so he's really not being taxed on any games he plays in Florida. He's not being taxed on.
Where does he live, though? He might have to pay a tax for in his home state.
I don't think that's how it works. I think it's based on where the games are played.
I'm not sure.
But anyway, so that
tax expert.
That being said,
yeah, you shouldn't really say.
Out of his $10 million before taxes in any way, he'd be making $3,350,000.
Okay, what's your point?
I'm just putting into context what his numbers were.
So $3.5 million. We'll round it. $3.5 million is not worth his life, but $10 million is. That's basically what he said.
I just think
right. Yeah,
that is more or less. More or less.
No, that's literally what he's saying there.
He's like, I won't die for $3.5 million, but I'll die for 10.
As long as I get paid, then fine.
Did it sound like he would have been okay with taking half, but it was the 33% on top of that he was upset about? Like, maybe the players are okay with taking half because it's half a season, and maybe it was this revenue stuff that just came out that is what's holding it back. And if that's the case, then I'm definitely on the player side.
I know that they think they should get paid. If they make $10 million a year, they should get paid $10 million this year. But if you're playing 81 games, it's fair to ask that to be prorated.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree.
Also, did they ever come to an agreement, or like at least some sort of on paper thing, or that they would pay them for this entire season? Like, did they have a plan for the entire season and backed out on that?
Canceled?
No, because like there's a few players. I think Trevor Bauer is one of them that's saying that we had an agreement and they kind of backed off and now have replaced their agreement with revenue sharing, but they never really had anything in place for the players yet.
To be honest with you, I haven't really kept up with that too much, but from what I understood is that they were going to pay through April or May or something, but it wasn't for the whole season. That's the last
I didn't think so either.
Because you got to look at it from the owner's perspective. Nobody wants to take the owner's side in this, but why are you going to pay guys to not work this year? You want to do a good faith thing and pay him for a couple months. That's one thing. But if there's no season, you're going to pay Garrett Cole $38 million a year to, pick dingleberries out of his ass.
All right. So from what I just got, just going on online real quick, it seems like they got upset over the additional pay cuts that the owners wanted. So it seems to me like they were being rational when it comes to taking half the salary for half the season, which, yeah, and at that point the owner shouldn't be obligated to play it, but what, these guys didn't want to sit home. These guys didn't want this virus to start. If it were up to them, they would have been playing from day one if this virus didn't break out. So why are they getting penalized so much money for being told that they couldn't play? And I think that's where it's not fair.
It's not fair to anybody
all right,
dealing
now,
with this right now.
Now, what if tomorrow you're asked, all right, you're going back to work every single day and you refuse? What happens to you?
As long as
Fired.
As long as we're still in this state of emergency or whatever it is.
Yeah, technically they can't force you to go back to work.
They can't force you if you're not
You
comfortable.
read the CARES Act, though. It kind of is. If you read the CARES Act that Donald Trump passed,
Please don't bang the ball on the.
Sorry. It kind of refuses you to use fear over the coronavirus as an excuse to not go back to work if your employer decides to reopen. I mean, obviously, it really, really depends on the state, and that's where you get into a legal aspect of it, and it again becomes bigger than the sport, so you don't really know. But I've seen it. I've seen a few of my friends that have been basically given an ultimatum that if they don't go back to work, they're out of a job. So it's a very weird time to be, and a lot of it, I think, what the owners are doing is they realize that we're in a weird spot. Plus, the collective bargaining agreement does expire in 2021 after next season. So let's maybe try and push this revenue sharing thing that we've been maybe thinking about to try and push on these players when that happened. And they're trying to go all in now. Oh, I don't think so either. But I think maybe this is them sort of, and this is kind of what Tony Clark, who's the head of, I believe, the Players Association.
Yes.
He kind of insinuated that the owners, they're trying to push this revenue sharing thing in right now because it's a window of opportunity to do what they eventually will have planned to do when the collective bargaining agreement expires in 2021, which is do a revenue sharing, which is exactly what the NBA does. It's what the NFL does. It's what all other major sports do, and that's what also includes a salary cap.
Here's the difference, though, with the NFL. They have to sell out their games. They have fans there every single day. When you talk about a team like the Rays, I mean, the Rays can be the best team in baseball, and they have no one coming. So why would you ever want to play for the Tampa Bay Rays at that point?
And it's also kind of not fair to just immediately change everything like that. I get it; it is unprecedented circumstances, but
I think baseball has such a good, strong union. And I think for the most part, they just do a really good job of coexisting and figuring things out. I don't think they should change anything. I think that things have been pretty good, and I think they should just keep going with it. But as far as this situation's concerned, where do you guys lie? Because you've kind of fought on both sides of it. I'm definitely with the players.
I think I would lean towards being with the players because, like you said, Chris, it's their responsibility to play, and so that's where they lie for me. But for the owners, the problem right now with not having baseball is that they're not making money, and revenue isn't going to be the same as it was because you won't have the attendance, you won't have all of that, right?
That's why they want to expand the playoffs, because they figure they'll have at least the TV money with the extra rounds. They would figure they can make extra money off of that.
Now that's exactly what Major League Baseball has to continue to do. They have to figure out this is kind of it all ties back to what baseball in general has to do, which is figure out inventive ways to revive this sport. And right now, in terms of making money, they have to figure out a new way, a new way to make some revenue. I proposed the virtual stadium experience last week.
Did you hear what Joe Buck had to say? Did you hear what Joe Buck had to say?
No.
I don't know if he was referring to the NFL, because I didn't hear that part, but they played a clip of an interview that he did where he said that he would what did he say exactly? That he would want the producers to play piped in crowd noise, because I
was thinking that too. Remember, I said the Falcons guy.
If you ever noticed Joe Buck, one of his biggest strengths as an announcer is letting the crowd noise tell the story of the game.
And especially
here's where
when the Yankees do something good.
I had the thought of maybe live streaming the game, right, and playing that audio through the stadium. But there's one problem with doing any of that in a mass crowd like that. It's the delay. If they're not there, that delay, it completely takes away that possibility. You can't do a. He did also mention
something to the effect of, instead of when they pan the stadium and seeing it empty, that you would see computerized images of people sitting in the seats.
I said the virtual stadium experience. You set up cameras in certain sections of the stadium, right? And you give the fan access to that section, and they can control where their cameras focused in between innings. You can change where your camera's pointed.
Fucking stole an idea from Stat Guy Rye. Yep. I used to hang out with this guy, and his father-in-law was from Italy, and he spoke in very broken English. And he was a big Yankee fan, and he hates Joe Buck, and he used to call him Joe Motherfuck. Think of like Mario the plumber from Mario Brothers. Joe Motherfuck.
Well, we actually
Joe Motherfucked you on that one, right?
But come on, you're telling me you wouldn't, Christian, especially you wouldn't spend $50 for a camera pointed right behind home plate. You're that first seat right behind home plate, and you have complete access to that camera for the entire game. In between innings, you can change the camera angle and move it around.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I like it. I'm just saying I probably wouldn't spend money on it.
Okay.
All right, but
I think a lot of people would, and I think it's a good idea. I think
to make some red.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I think people would do it. But here's how I look at it. When I'm not at the game and I'm watching on TV, the best part is I don't miss anything. So if I'm going to be sitting home comfortable, you would, though, because if you're going to be...
You get that in between inning, though, they'd keep the camera live feed going.
I understand, but now they're losing revenue on commercials and advertising.
Oh, you could do a little bottom line going, Chris. Come on now.
Here's my
screen
thing.
in half.
When I'm home...
Yeah, but he's right, though. Coke's not going to like you not watching their commercials.
All right, well, then you do what the NFL does, or the MLB was doing it last year. Cut the screen in half, do a split screen, and so you get the warm-ups on the left and Coca-Cola out on the right.
Besides that, I'm just thinking of the...
You got to think.
I'm thinking of why I wouldn't do it, and my biggest thing would be that the best part of being at the game and sitting behind home plate is that, you get that different view.
Guys, I found Mike Ford's first action figure.
That's the Homer Simpson that he compares him to. But when you're there, hearing the crack of the bat live, hearing everything, you'll get somewhat of that experience through the TV, but it's not the same as being at the ballpark. So if I'm not going to be at the ballpark and I'm going to be home, I want to watch it from the professional cameras that show every angle of every pitch.
What about an exclusive VIP ticket that places you in the dugout alongside your favorite Yankees, mic'd up, and you could hear everything they're saying with the camera right on that dugout top step?
It's a good idea. If they could pull that eye off, but it's not something I would personally pay money for.
No, I hear you, but I think it's unprecedented times, and unprecedented times call for unprecedented responses, and that's something that you got to just kind of think outside the box. This is something Ryan? No one's ever experienced before.
If they had some type of idea or plan in place before all this, and maybe they just wanted to start executing it, that'd be one thing. But to do all this now, before it just takes so much money and so much time and so much more personnel to get everything set up. Live streaming, even when we live stream just this podcast, it's not an easy thing to do. And of course not. But we're talking about $1 billion industry here. We're talking about $1 billion industry where people are fighting over pennies right now. So now
it's not pennies.
It's
not pennies. It's really not.
To
pennies,
them, it is.
Not,
to them,
but I know what you're saying. It would be a quick, sporadic thing to pull off, but it's certainly something.
I'm not against.
If you're talking about, if you're saying it's a Tampa Bay Rays payroll, yeah, it's pennies. But you know, Hal Steinbrenner, it's $125-130 million. You know.
Yeah.
It's not pennies.
But one of our good Twitter questions that we'll read later, or whenever Christian reads it off, actually has to do with not having fans. I actually really like the question. It had to do with not having fans in the stadium and how it can affect everything.
Well, I keep telling the story all the time, bro. The only new form of entertainment that I get is wrestling, and there's nobody in the building. It does take away from your enjoyment of what you're watching when something like that is predicated on fan responses and people making noise, and there's no noise. And yeah, it's different with a sport, because we could go to a high school baseball game where there would literally be nobody there watching the game except for maybe a few parents, and still enjoy it because you'd still hear the teams, dugout chatter. Hey, bat, hey, but little bingo here, little base hit, like that's maybe that's the type of stuff. Mike, maybe that's something I would actually enjoy that.
They're talking
more
about
than
that.
Anything.
About miking guys up more.
Miking guys up and having them play up the dugout chatter. Because, dude, Ryan, did you play in high school? I don't know. Did you?
No, I didn't.
But you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I've gone to plenty of high school baseball games. Sure.
But I'm saying from Chris and I perspective that we played at high school. Chris played a little bit higher level in college. But wasn't that a lot of the fun of what you were doing sometimes, especially, when you weren't playing?
Sure. That
you were just involved. You were up on, we had like a fence or something, or you were up on the top step of the dugout and, just doing your dugout chatter. Wasn't that a lot of fun? Like to hear grown professionals do that, I would think it would bring you back to, it would be good for nostalgia, I guess almost to hear that, to see these guys like almost take it to a little league level where they're in it for the love of the game.
And let me say,
I would like to hear that. I would personally like to hear.
And let me say this, I promise you, I'm not knocking wrestling for once. But my thing with wrestling, one of my first ideas that I tweeted to you was, can't they CGI in a crowd? Can't they use crowd noise during all of this? And I thought it would work great for wrestling because wrestling is scripted. And you're watching something scripted, almost like a television show with a laugh track, where something scripted, it's okay to have fake fans at that point.
That's the thing. You don't want to seem... And I hate this word, and I hate that I'm going to use it, but you don't want something that is, quote, fake and adding more fakeness onto it. I think that's part of the reason why it wouldn't work in wrestling, is that you would just try to, avoid.
Yeah, but it's a show. It's a show, right?
It's a show portrayed as a sporting event. So I don't think it would work. Like, if like, I'm trying to think of like who wrestles that you would actually know right now.
I know a lot of wrestlers.
Like Drew McIntyre is the WWE champion right now. If he hit, like they just had an event over the weekend. Like he was wrestling Seth Rollins. Oh, hey Seth, how you doing over there? That's you, Rye.
Yeah, he does look like him.
Sup? What's his catchphrase? You want me to do it for you? Get you hyped up?
He's the Monday Night Messiah. He calls himself.
I'm the Monday Night Messiah.
He's not fucking what's his face.
You better
take that coffee and you gotta take the coffee down.
Chris, actually, you would like this guy called Otis. He's basically
I know Otis. He's one of the brothers, isn't he?
He's not a brother of who?
Who are the weird brothers that used to come out and like?
Wait, did you finish the point you were making, Christian?
No, okay, I got sidetracked here, but his finishing move is the Claymore kick, right? He kicks you in the face. Now, you would want to...
Otis, I like Otis.
You would want to play fans cheering when he kicks Seth Rollins in the face. I don't know how that would work.
I'm sorry, not the
because but the audience is natural when you think like, yeah, maybe it's planned out wrestling, but the reaction is still
The reaction is real. You're reacting to what's happening in front of you.
I thought, was it the Otis? Didn't they used to come out and like they'd have like a skull and all the lights would be off and they'd come out.
Rude?
What?
The Brood? Is that who you're thinking of?
No, man.
Yeah, well, that's who came out with, and they used to drink blood.
No, it was like a group of them. Maybe I'm.
Yeah, there was three. There was three.
Oh,
of
then
them.
maybe I am thinking of them.
He used to drink blood.
This is
Well,
a pretty
Otis is basically like he's like a Chris Farley.
Yeah, I'm looking at him now. I got him up on my screen.
He's basically like he plays like a Chris Farley type character. I think you would enjoy him. He's got the hottest chick in the game rocking his chain.
Listen, my biggest thing is this too when it comes to that. In wrestling, when you watch wrestling, they're talking to the crowd. They're feeding off the live crowd. They're not talking to you per se watching behind the TV. They're talking to the crowd and getting engagement. I think it would be a cool thing if we don't get that crowd feel when we're watching baseball to still keep it authentic, not add some backtrack of fans, but to mic more guys up and get a feel for that. Because I enjoy it during the All-Star game. I hate that it gets like over the top. I don't want to hear broadcasters interviewing them, mid-inning, but I think just to keep them mic'd up, the only problem with that is it's very difficult to censor. And when you can know you're mic'd up and whatnot, but you can't control what other guys are saying. You sometimes can't control what you're about to say. And what does MLB love to do? They love to hide content. So if something happens where there's a bad call, these guys are going to start mouthing off and you're going to hear everything, and they don't want that.
Nope. That's what I was about to say. I was going to say this is a good test for MLB to see if they're going to take that modern approach and finally grow up and stop worrying about. We had this discussion before about the word integrity with baseball, with how they were ruling the Astros and how they're so fixated on keeping the reputation of the game polished and perfect. But I mean, that there needs to be something there, a filler that replaces the void of not having the crowd there. And the sounds of baseball are unlike any other sport. Obviously, we're biased, but the sounds of baseball are the best in sports.
So you know what you got to do? You got to put a couple more mics behind home plate. You got to really...
They won't do it, man. It sucks.
Well, hold
on.
Won't. You got to really amplify every sound. You got to amplify the crack of the bat. You got to amplify the pop of the catcher's mitt. Everything, and then you have control over if something seems to be getting out of control a little bit, you can mute those mics.
All right, so are we done?
Yeah.
Only because I'm bored of talking about this now, and I want to go on to the game.
Yes, I'm done.
All right. I found this this Twitter page, Random Yankee Players, so I'm going to pull a few guys off this, and then I think maybe next week I might do a little bit more in detail with it. I'll give you an easy one to start. I think you would get it right off the bat with this one clue. All right. Now you know what? Let me hold on a second. You guys talk about something for a quick minute.
Ugh. What are you going to talk about?
I don't know, man.
I just want baseball back, man.
It is crazy, though, how baseball is a prorated system that pays their players just totally separate. I never really looked into how a salary cap is constructed. And like the NFL started their salary cap in 1994. The first cap was $34.6 million. That was what the cap was set in 1994. Let's look up what the 2019 salary cap was.
It's probably... insanity.
188.2 million.
Jesus.
So if in 25 years it went from 30 million to 188.2 million, and that's how it works. I never realized that it's the revenue generated from the previous year, and depending on how much money was generated, that's how much your salary cap will increase. So have you noticed how much basketball in the NBA,
is it team
it's
by
grown
team?
so much?
Is it team by team?
No, I think no.
It's
every
just a
team has
set
a hard
salary
cap.
cap.
It's a set salary cap. And
yeah, but I mean,
just
basketball is
don't up.
in my opinion, basketball is the best example because basketball is a sport that through all of this, even when it wasn't popular, guys were still starting to make more and more money. And now it's gotten to a point where these guys are personalities and
it makes sense more for basketball because you almost have to be a personality because the more more likability you have, the more money you might be able to bring in. And then if that brings money into the league, that's also bringing money into you. So
I'm going to take
that might be why. Yeah, that might be why the NBA is so much such a better marketed sport than baseball.
All right, so we're going to do it like this. Okay, this is the initial round. It's going to be Chris versus Ryan. I can see both of you, so if you know the answer, don't shout it out. Raise your hand. I'm going to do 9 players. This as long as you was that acceptable in school? Would you get called on if you did that?
Can I get to the bathroom?
All right, so we're going to do 9 players. All right, and then I'll do the tally at the end. Even if you clinch the victory, I'm still going to do all 9, okay?
Okay.
All right, so this is the first one, and so don't shout it out. I want to do this as like a little competition here. Here's the first. They're not going to.
Are you making these clues yourself?
Yeah, I'm making these clues myself. All right. We'll keep it from like 2000 to 2019.
Yeah. Let's keep it. Yeah, let's keep
it in that area. They're not all batters. Like we were talking about the John Sterling calls, but there are pitchers. I'm going to give you pitchers. Okay. So the first one, Joe Torre tried to kill me. Yes, Chris.
Scott Proctor.
Correct.
What? Well, I was going to say Mike Mussina.
No, Scott Proctor. He literally used him every game.
Oh, right. Okay.
Scott Proctor had like 400 innings.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
All right. Here is the second player. My son is currently one of the best players in Major League Baseball. Ryan.
I didn't know you were going to say Major. Yastrzemski.
No,
he was a Red Sox.
Chris.
Shit. I want to say Guerrero, but it's not him.
I got it.
No,
I got it.
All right, I'll give you another.
Bellinger.
Yeah, it's Clay Bellinger.
I just couldn't think of him. Shit.
I thought you were gonna say is the best in like high school. I thought you were gonna say Al Leiter. Because it sounds fucking good.
Next. Aaron Boone was a rookie manager in 2018, and every good rookie needs a security blanket. I was Aaron Boone's security blanket. Chris.
Oh, man. It's, oh, my God.
Too much time, dude.
No. It's not too much time. It's,
Larry Rothschild. It's not Larry Rothschild.
I know who it is.
It was Thompson.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's the dude from.
Shut up.
I know it.
We called him the security blanket.
Yes, it's the dude from the relief pitcher who sucked, but he would go.
What's his name?
I just can't think of it. Oh my God!
Oh wait, he was a player.
Yes.
Yeah. Christian used to say. No, he was a relief pitcher. Christian used to say, I'm glad he's gone because now Boone doesn't have his... Cole.
AJ Cole. Nobody gets a point on that one.
Nah.
All right. So we did 3 so far. Let's see what else we got here. Let's pick a good one.
A lot of pressure.
He played 1 season with the New York Yankees after probably being my most hated player of all time. Yes, Chris.
Juan Encarnacion.
Wrong answer.
Edwin Encarnacion.
The correct answer, no. It's not that. It wasn't Encarnacion, right?
No.
It's Kevin Youkilis.
It is Kevin Youkilis.
Wow.
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey,
all right.
Kevin Youkilis could get on base. Sign him. Moneyball. Remember that?
This is my Brian Cashman impersonation for player number 5. He's my center fielder.
I believe the answer is Aaron Hicks.
Wrong answer.
I got it.
My yes, Chris.
Jacoby Ellsbury.
Wrong answer.
Is
My
there
center.
fucking more to this?
I dropped a fly ball in center field in the 2005 playoffs.
Melky Cabrera.
No. You
No.
didn't raise your hand
Okay,
anyway.
in the playoffs, 2005 against the White Sox.
Remember, I famously said this guy was my center fielder before signing a all-star center fielder to a big money contract.
Crosby?
Yes, Bubba Crosby.
Wow.
That doesn't count. He already got it wrong.
Bubble,
he did.
bubble, 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 bubble. I didn't get that wrong.
3-1.
All right. It's 3-1.
I did
And
get that wrong. Whatever.
Yeah, but you're allowed to guess.
Yeah,
You're allowed to re-guess.
All right,
no
so
shot.
after the first initial guess of raising your hand, it's just a free-for-all. You can just keep guessing.
As long as it's not back-to-back guesses.
All right, hold on. I want to get a good clue for this next guy.
Bubba Crosby. Man. Everyone thought he was the future.
Literally nobody thought that. Okay, no, that's not what I want.
What was the one I got right?
Scott Proctor.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was Scott Proctor.
Do, do, do.
Okay, I played with the Yankees for 2 seasons.
Okay.
I was a former number 2 overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft. I never lived up to my potential. I was acquired from the Seattle Mariners.
got it.
Yes.
Oh, from them?
Yes.
Shoot.
Number 2. Oh, I got it.
Pineda. Michael Pineda.
That's bullshit.
What? Who is it, Chris?
Pineda.
Oh, yeah, he was drafted. No, he wasn't drafted. It wasn't Jesus Montero.
Stop guessing. Let Chris get
Jesus
his guess.
Montero.
He
It's not Jesus Montero. The Yankees
guess.
drafted Jesus Montero, or they signed
Yeah, I
him.
thought so. That's why.
All right.
I didn't.
He actually retired from Major League Baseball, or was never signed by another Major League Baseball team after completing the 2016 season with the Yankees.
Randy Johnston?
No.
Oh, it's not Randy Johnson. He hit 4 career home runs with the Yankees, 46 overall. He was a
Oh, I got it.
who?
But I'll let Chris gets a guess.
Okay.
He was most known as a second baseman.
Oh no, I don't got it.
Okay. I have no idea.
Was Brett Boone on the Yankees?
Oh,
No, Brett Boone was a friggin'
Oh yeah, and I got to think 2016.
all right, do you
too.
want the answer?
yeah.
Dustin Ackley.
Oh, Ackley
I
is who I
was
was thinking of him, but I didn't
I was
think
thinking of,
I didn't think he was drafted second. What'd you say? Second overall.
Second overall, yeah.
What?
I was thinking of Mike Zunino. Was another.
When was he?
failed-
Yankee?
No,
was
he
never a
wasn't. But he was a
Yankee.
failed Mariner. He thought he came to my head.
All right, we're 6 in. Ryan's
Very
up
good.
3-1 right now.
All right.
All right. Brian Cashman didn't realize he sucked so bad the first time he went and traded for him again. Yes, Chris.
Javier Vasquez.
Yes.
That's complete bull. That's BS. I totally had my hand up
No,
first
you
there.
did not. Maybe your thing is lagging.
Unbelievable.
I had it. I had it before Christian even finished the question. 3-2.
Pedro Martinez once famously asked who this person was. An outfielder on the 2003 New York Yankees. Who is Pedro Martinez referring to when he says, who is? Chris.
Hideki Matsui.
Oh.
I have no idea.
Ryan, you want to venture a guess here? I'll give you another, see if I can give you another clue here.
Wait, what year? What year was the playoff? Was the 2003?
He was on the Yankees in 2002, then went to Cleveland. then was back on the Yankees later in 2003, and then he was with the Mets in 2000. And he was with the Mets and Orioles in 2004, in his last year in Major League Baseball. But Pedro Martinez once famously said to this guy, "Who is?" because he had thrown at his head during a game in the postseason. Come on, as soon as
Chad Curtis.
no, Ryan, you have a guess?
No.
Who is Kareem Garcia?
That was who I was fucking thinking.
All right, here it is. Last one.
I could force a tie break.
Yeah, Chris can force a tiebreaker. Ryan's up 3-2, 3 no guesses, so we're at 8 right now. All right, let's see if we can pick a real good one here.
We should get buzzers for this. We should call the Astros.
All right, I think I got it here. Let me bring up his baseball reference page in case you guys don't get it past the initial clue. All right. His nickname was Big Sexy.
Got it.
Chris.
Oh, no. Big Sexy.
Oh, fucking sure of it.
I thought you were going to say Big Daddy.
I got it.
Oh, sexy. He's recent.
All right. That's enough time.
I forfeit
You have it?
my time.
You have it, Ryan?
Did he also hit a home run off of James Shields?
I don't have that information in front of me. He had 35.
Well,
35.
but this guy's nickname is Big Sexy, and it's Bartolo Colon.
It is not Bartolo.
I got it. I know it.
That's BS.
I got it.
Glenn Allen Hill.
Not Glenn Allen Hill. Who said Glenn Allen Hill?
Chris.
No, I didn't. He did.
He played 30. He had 35.
Bro, wait, hold on. This whole game show is rigged because there's only one Big Sexy in baseball, and that's Bartolo Colon.
Well, when you hear his name, you're gonna know why
It's
he was
Rich
called
Sexton.
It is Richie Sexton.
Boom.
No one called him Big Sexy. No,
yes,
no
he
one
did.
called
He
him
called himself that.
Look up right now, Big Sexy Yankees, and you'll only see one person. You're not going to see Rich Sexton. You're going to see Bartolo Colon.
Sorry. I got the point. Tiebreaker coming up.
You didn't get the point.
Bleacher Report, the day that the Yankees acquired Richie Sexton, the headline is "Bring me Big Sexy." I don't know if you can see it there, but go back in.
If you type in Big Sexy Yankees on Google.
I type in Big Sexy Richie
Aaron
Sexton.
Judge.
Oh, yeah, you add his name to it. Yeah, like
Aaron
All right.
Judge and Stanton came up for me.
he literally, his Wikipedia page pops up.
Yeah,
Aaron Judge pops up.
Cologne does pop right up, but I still get the point.
I'll give you the point.
All right, here it is for the tiebreaker. Okay. Let's see. Let's get a good one here. I am a pitcher with a funky delivery. Chris?
Who is El Duque?
That is incorrect. I am a pitcher with a funky delivery who used to be called upon when I was with the Red Sox who strike out big left-handed Yankee batters. Guess that guy right.
Ah, shit. No, it's probably not him.
Oh, I got it.
Is it Andrew Miller?
No.
I got it.
Chris.
Who is Mike Myers?
Yeah, who is? I fucking Googled it.
No, wait, dude, I swear to God.
It was Mike Myers. I was going to guess him. He wasn't for lefties.
I got
But
it.
he was just he was a righty guy.
The comeback.
I thought he was a lefty. He had to be a lefty.
The comeback.
If he's right-handed, then we're taking that away.
If he is right-handed, then Ryan, then we will do one more.
Nah,
You did not say he was left-handed, though.
Yeah, but he said he came in to get lefties
He
out.
did.
You're right. You're right.
Is,
He's lefty.
But he is.
Do you remember they used to play? They used to play. I was gonna guess him too, but
that my final clue was I share a name with a famous serial killer.
Yeah, they used to play that when he'd warm up.
All right, so
I won.
All right, Chris, you fucking won, dude. That's all you care about is competition.
Good for me.
the other in the group chat, Chris and I are in with our wives. It came out the other day that he had to cheat to beat his daughter in Shoots and Ladders because he's such a bad.
He was 100%. He'll never admit it, but he was looking up some of those answers.
I swear on my children's lives,
and he'll use some crazy.
I did not look up one thing.
Swear on his kids' lives.
I swear on the Yankees ever winning a World Series ever again. I did not look up one answer.
That was on the fly. Do you guys want to do that again next week?
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'll actually have time to sit there and get some better clues, maybe.
Yeah, that was cool.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then maybe I can have a little clip queued up on my phone.
Okay, so day 73 of quarantine. Okay, I got Minko. Minko's upstairs. We're quarantining together.
First,
boss, you need anything? You want anything, boss? Oh my God! Get this guy out of my house. Okay.
All right, what's the show running right now?
An hour.
All right, so let's finish up here with a couple Twitter questions. Jimmy V at Canes Eagles 1. He says he loves the show, but I don't know if I love him because wouldn't that mean that he's an Eagles fan if his handle is
Maybe it's the band. Maybe it's the band.
Like Hotel California?
Yes.
Okay. So he's got 2 questions. Okay. What are we doing to pass the time? That's the first question.
Drugs.
Bro, I don't know if you want to know what Ryan just did.
Yeah.
Ryan's gesture. I was thinking the same thing.
I mean, you know.
I don't know, waking up and feeling like a robot and just doing the same things over and over.
Yeah, I've actually been playing more piano lately, so I've been doing that.
A little classical piano?
I don't know what I would even call it. I just kind of hit chords and see what sounds good. I've definitely gotten better, though. I've definitely gotten better since the beginning of this quarantine.
Ryan's a great pianist.
Thank you, Chris.
Your brother just said you had a great penis.
I said a great pianist.
He's a great brother. He's a great brother. Oh, what? I've also been playing MLB The Show. A ridiculous amount.
Well, for me, a ridiculous amount. I played 6 whole games.
Oh, yeah. I did that yesterday.
Play 6.
I play two a day. I'll play 2 games a day.
I usually play on the weekends. I don't really see. I just can't, for some reason, can't bring myself up here to play during the week. I
have newborn. I don't have any kids.
I had a kid, so that's that's been keeping me busy the last 2 weeks.
Shitty diapers.
I get lucky, man. I don't want to jinx myself. Fingers crossed, but she only shits when it's my wife's turn.
Can I teach you? Can I teach you a little trick?
I don't want any parenting advice from you.
No. It's not parenting advice. It's scummery, if that's a word. It's douchebaggery. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're the fucking king of that.
Anything in life that you don't want to do, you just fuck it up the first time you do it. So, like, if you start getting more shitty diapers to do, just make sure you get shit like on the couch or something, or just make it really. And you know what? You know what your wife will do after that? Oh no, shit! You can't change a diaper. I have to do it. Boom. Done.
Can I tell you something? My wife told me when we took her home. Do not.
That sounds fucking terrible.
She said to me when we took her home and I was changing her diaper, she said, "Don't remove the diaper until you have the new diaper on because they'll piss or shit somewhere." So I said, "Okay, no problem." I took the diaper, threw it out, and while she was laying on the changing table, what did she do?
Everywhere.
She pissed everywhere.
Yep.
I thought that was going to get me out of it, except it just got me yelled at, and I still have to change diapers. But, you know, she's daddy's little girl, and she knows daddy doesn't like to change poop diapers, so she's been pretty good. She's been pretty good with saving shits for mommy. So
when my wife asked me to do the dishes, I leave them a little dirty on some of the plates, and then she says I don't clean them good enough, and then I don't.
Right. You know what I watched in the last week? The Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, yeah?
I haven't watched it in years.
The second one's still the best.
Oh, without a doubt. It does nothing. I mean, it's one of the... I tweeted it the other night. It's not one of the best comic book movies of all time. It's one of the best movies
Definitely
all
one of the
time.
best actors.
I don't care what anybody fucking says. You can't classify that as a comic book movie. That's a fucking great movie.
How'd the third one hold up though? Watching it again, because
I
I feel
didn't-
like when I watched that again, I didn't like it that much. I think it was too comic booky. Like it's too. They tried to do those one-liners in there. You know what I mean?
What my issue with it
Comic
was?
relief shit.
Batman Begins is very underrated in my
It
opinion.
It's
is,
a
yeah,
phenomenal
Because-
movie.
It is a
Because-
really good movie.
Because The Dark Knight is so good that it overshadows everything, and because of that, The Dark Knight Rises had so much hype behind it.
Oh, I thought Dark Knight Rises was. Is that the one where Joseph Gordon-Levitt ends it and he's Robin?
Yeah.
I thought that
And
movie
that-
was great.
It's really good. It just
I
it's
liked it
not,
the first time a lot, but when I watched it again, I didn't hold
That was,
up.
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
that's The Dark Knight. That's the second one. I thought it was too big. You know that he tried to live in this certain grounded reality, even though there was things like the monorail falling off the tracks in the first one.
Which one's Bane in?
Yeah,
in the third one.
hospital,
The third one.
hospital,
And the hospital blew up, but it was still like he tried to live in this grounded reality, right?
They really did that too in the second one.
In the third one, it was just like fuck it, like we're just gonna go.
We're
big.
gonna
Yeah,
the
but
football field's gonna
Think
deteriorate.
of it like this though. If you take Heath Ledger out of The Dark Knight, is that movie half of what it is?
Oh, it's
And
like
you
saying,
could say
if Robert
they
De Niro
took him
wasn't in
out.
Godfather 2, or if Sylvester Stallone wasn't in Rocky, or fucking Arnold
That's
Schwarzenegger
not
was in
true.
Terminator.
That's not true. Heath Ledger.
Yes, it
Heath
is.
Ledger's not the main character.
It doesn't matter. That's a role. That's a pivotal role of the fucking movie. Like you're gonna change.
And
it.
Okay,
What-
if it
what
wasn't
really
Heath
sucked,
Ledger, if
too-
it was someone else.
We don't know, but he played the fucking
And
Joker.
he would, and it would have been the third one too. He would have been in that too.
Yeah,
so,
man, I would have. That's what sucked about it.
but those are great movies.
I mean,
and
yeah.
now look at that genre, mostly because of that, and probably I guess was Spider-Man first. Yeah, I guess
The
Spider-Man
Sam
really.
Raimi one was like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first one was like
2002.
because remember in
2000. The
the
September
trailer when he was swinging through the World Trade Center, and they had to take that out. So,
Yeah,
I think that one debuted in 2002. But yeah, no, I watched that. I've been watching Parks and Rec now. I just finished The League, which I don't know, man. Like
The
sometimes
League, the first season or two of The League was great, but
Phenomenal.
then it just took a crazy turn.
You know what my issue is with The League, because I only watched. This is only the second time I've ever watched it, and it's been a long time since I watched it the first time. They try too hard to be dirty. Like
Yeah.
that shit needs to come naturally. Like you can't
Yeah.
force being like fucking piggish. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't this
'Cause
guy
then
have
it's just-
another part to his question?
He asked us what we were doing in quarantine, and we're answering it.
Oh, that you're
Yeah,
still
we're
answering.
watching.
Yeah, and the second part to the question is actually what you alluded to earlier, was how do you think the lack of fans will affect players or TV ratings? I don't know how it would affect the players. I don't know if they feed off the energy of the crowd like
Of course
that.
they do.
I think you'll have players that it'll affect negatively, and players like Sonny Gray maybe that it could affect positively.
Sonny
That
Gray?
maybe would.
Sonny
Would-
Gray will have I'm glad
Greatest
that you brought
season
that up,
ever.
because he will have the greatest season by a pitcher ever. this year.
No,
Nobody
I-
wants
you know, here's how I think of it. Playing through like high school and college, even the biggest games, if we didn't have a lot of people there, it didn't matter. That's all you were used to, right? That's all you knew. But if I ever played an MLB, just one game with 50,000 people cheering and going crazy, to not have that has to be a huge adjustment. I'm not saying these guys will lack in performance, but it's going to be different.
No, it's definitely an adjustment.
It's
sure.
going to be really different for them, and it's
Well, you know, it is going to be different, because even on a different scale is like you hear Yankees or Red Sox players talk about what it's like in that when they play each other and what the fans are like. And it's almost like a letdown when you go to a different city, like when let's say they'll go to Kansas City or some place where they're not as vocal. They're on a different energy level. So maybe that will play into it to a degree. I can see that.
Tampa
I
Bay
don't
and
think
Baltimore should be fine.
If you had the option as a player yourself, would you rather play in front of fans or play to an empty crowd?
Oh,
No,
fans,
definitely
come
want
on.
to play in front of people. Yeah, absolutely. How do I think?
What if every start you were scheduled to make, your starting pitcher was on the road? 90% of your starts would be on the road.
I don't. Well, couldn't you feed off of that too? The negative.
Absolutely.
Let it
No,
fuel you?
That's the great. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
But there's
as far
there's some
as
players out there that don't care for it.
As far as being a fan and affecting me, I think in the beginning I'll be so distracted and excited to have baseball back that, yeah, it'll be an adjustment, but I'll be fine with it. I think as the season progresses, if there's still no fans, it's going to start to get to me a little bit where I'm going to wish people could be filling the seats.
I'll go back to my wrestling analogy. When they started the empty arena shows, I was still kind of into it. It was a novelty to it.
Right.
Even through WrestleMania, but like it does get boring after a while. So I don't know if baseball is going to have the same effect.
It won't because you're still, when you're watching wrestling, you're still there for the show. You're not so much there for the unexpected heroes of reality and of the sport. So like, I think, yeah, the novelty will wear off, but the excitement of, someone hitting a walk-off home run, that aspect of it though can't go away. That will never go away. You're still going to have emotion. You're not going to start to get bored of it.
Yeah,
Can't
but
say that for a fact, because when they're up in Toronto, you're not bored watching those games compared to when they're compared to when they're playing the Mets or the Red Sox or even the Astros. Aren't you bored watching a fucking game up in Toronto? Like, be honest with me.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, but the thing is that you still have an end goal. So no matter how boring or lazy the game might get, you're still excited because you're waiting for the outcome. In wrestling, yeah, in a sense you are, but there's nowhere to go. You don't have a vested interest in one guy to take it all, that his talents and whatever can get him there. It's scripted. At the end of the day, it's scripted. Baseball, anything can happen at any time. So that aspect of it will never make the game boring just because fans aren't there.
So do you know where the Yankees, if we were playing baseball, you know where the Yankees would be tomorrow night?
Wait, hold on. Let me think. What's the date? May 14th?
May 5th. Well, tomorrow night. Friday night.
Boston.
No.
Would have been Detroit.
Oh, Houston.
Yeah, they would be in
Houston.
They would be in Houston for a 3-game series if we were playing baseball right now. So that would have been a lot of fun. Twitter would have been all up on that one.
So. Oh
yeah. So, and just to finish up this question, how do I think it'll affect ratings? I think ratings for sports when they come back are going to be tremendous.
Through the roof.
For a while.
Absolutely.
At least for the first week or so. I mean, they're going to be...
The only way they're not is if like the NBA playoffs come back like at the exact same time, then maybe it'll be down. But even though they'll still be up from last year, definitely. Everyone's craving sports.
I think you have enough of a different crowd, though, that it won't affect baseball. Like, I don't think there's...
There was more people watching basketball than baseball.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you're a regular baseball fan, like if you're an actual baseball fan who watches every game, you're a diehard baseball fan. And so even if you're a big basketball fan, like, right, you're a pretty big basketball fan. You're telling me that you're going to skip Yankee games to watch basketball? Yeah. No. So your true fans aren't going anywhere.
But I'm a diehard Yankee fan.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm watching a regular season Yankee game over a Super Bowl.
For the casual fan, yes, you're right. It's gonna go to. It's
not the Eagles are in it. Don't give me that bullshit.
I might flick back and forth. I don't know, dude. Yankees are so far above every other team in sports. It's exhausting rooting for all these teams. You got to just pick one.
I don't understand people that are like, oh, I'm a Ranger fan, I'm a Knicks fan, I'm a Yankee fan.
Yeah, right?
I don't get it. How do you have the time for that? I'm so exhausted. That's why football is the perfect second sport for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm so exhausted after the Yankee season that I can only deal with sports for one day a week after that. And then I need a fucking break.
That is a good second sport. Yeah.
I don't know what the hell Chris is doing over there, but let's wrap up the show with our boy Don Sicario.
Don Sicario.
What up, bro?
Let's see here. Let's wrap up the show here with his question. He wants to know if Cole struggles, which he will in a game or two, how fast will people boo him and say that he was cheating in Houston? He says, just kidding. Hate to say it, but let's be honest, Yankee fans will always want to cry about something. And, bro, I've made this fucking point before, and I'll make it again. And it was super hyperbole. It was obviously a big exaggeration, but he takes the mound opening day, Yankee Stadium, throws the first pitch outside, ball one. He's getting booed.
Yeah, I think to be honest, and you know me, I'm not someone who is going to give Yankee fans the benefit of the doubt. But I think with someone like Cole, we have such a long contract with him, and he's proven himself so much.
They booed Giancarlo Stanton in his first game.
Because that was precedented. We've had guys like A-Rod come in and just completely blow it. So for this, how long has it? Hold on. How long has it been since we've had a true bona fide ace? How long?
It's been 10 years since they signed CC Sabathia.
Okay, so I think the excitement of having this ace is going to give the fans a little bit more time. I think you're
giving this fan base way too much credit.
I don't. I'm telling you, just watch.
The thing that makes him different than a guy like Giancarlo Stanton is that he won't be playing every day. So at least it won't be on back-to-back days where he could strike out four times on Monday and then do it again on Tuesday. So at least they'll have that time in between. The pitcher that you have to use as a reference for this is who, Christian? Who's the last big Yankee pitcher signed that the Yankees went out and got? And that's Sonny Gray. How long was he into pitching until he started getting good?
That's a little bit different. That was a trade, and he wasn't. I mean, he was bad. He was not really brought to be like the savior of the franchise like Garrett Cole is. But I'm telling you.
But if you're gonna compare it to somebody, I would pick comparing it to a pitcher. And Sonny, they had high hopes for Sonny Gray.
They did, but not what they're hoping.
But not even close to Garrett.
Well, we gotta hope that we don't.
They can't, dude. They have to.
We gotta hope that we don't even have to know who's right and who's wrong.
Well, we're not going to be playing. They're not going to be playing with fans.
It doesn't matter. So people are still going to watch the games, and you know,
yeah,
Twitter's
but you won't hear.
Twitter's going to be bitching and complaining. He goes out there and gives up 5 runs in his first start. They're going to tell you that he wasn't.
You know whose fault? You know whose fault it's going to be?
Who?
Larry Rothschild.
Yeah.
It's always Larry's fault. And on that note, we can end the show.
Wait, Ryan was going to say something.
No, I was just going to say perfect time to just delete all social media if you're an athlete. Just get off and then you play your game. There's no fan interaction. It's perfect. I would love to be an athlete without fans.
All right. Well, I would love to go downstairs and feed my daughter. So that's why we're gonna have to wrap up the show here. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
My kid is hungry. I don't really care about you guys anymore.
Yeah, I don't care.
But I thought we had a fun show here. I thought the end. We'll work on the game for next week. I think Bye, Rye. Bye, Rye. All right.
My dog's about to jump off my bed.
Oh, okay. Is the dog wearing a leather jacket? Or is that just her coloring?
Coloring.
Do you ever have anything nice to say about people's physical appearance?
I couldn't tell with the video if she had a jacket on or not, if that was her coloring. I'm a fucking dog person, you dickhead.
Beautiful dog.
It is a nice looking
dog. Great
dog.
language for your daughter to hear.
All right. We want to thank everybody for listening to episode 175 of the NYYST podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk. If you can handle this, go to my Twitter at Christian_NYYST. DM me and suggest some players that I could come up with clues for the next episode.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for listening to episode 175 of the podcast. Go to NYYSportsTalk.com. Catch up on your quarantine reading. We have some interviews up there with that we've been posting.
Everything should be fixed, by the way, by tomorrow. So new interviews are coming out too. So keep an eye out for those. So when the final interviews go up, then we're going to do a round robin where we each interview each other. So be on the lookout for that. But thank you for listening. Thank you very much for listening. Easy for me to say. Who goes first? Stat Guy Rye?
Go, yeah.
Chris, say goodbye.